This is the Fan Connection Podcast where we talk all things sports entertainment. We're your hosts. I'm Royce the Kid Michaels.
And I'm the real deal Devin Steele. Thanks to everyone who's listening.
Let's get right into it.
Bad Blood War Games Part 2.
For this second half of the Bad Blood War Games edition, one of us will be going through a table.
By way of diving from the top of a ladder.
The choice of which will take the move is completely up to y'all, the fans.
Like for Royce Michaels to go through the table.
Comment if you want to see Devin Steele go through a table.
Make your choice now.
Raw results, November 4th, for the first time ever, live in Saudi Arabia.
We start the show with Liv Morgan's Crown Jewel celebration, but as she is shortly interrupted by the Women's Tag Team Champions.
And that slowly gets turned into something else that we didn't even expect. Nobody would have expected that on Raw and Saudi. But we get a short confrontation between them, and then we get Adam Pearce out there, and then he's like, I don't know why you're so comfortable. You know what you did to Rhea Ripley. That's messed up. You better get ready. You're about to find out right now who your number one contender is. And then we're like, what? What's happening?
And so they decide to have a women's battle royal to decide who will face Liv Morgan next for her women's world championship.
I think it was like, how many women was in it? Like 10 or 12, I think. I'm not exactly sure how many were in it, but there's a bunch of
majority of the women's roster. But in the end, Io Sky of Damage Control takes the W. And thank God they're not just sitting on them after their loss.
In the last two, it came down to Io Sky and Lyra Valkyria. And I was just like, well, obviously it's going to be Io Sky. I don't think Lyra Valkyria is established enough to be world, facing for a title at all.
I don't think she has enough, presence, really, to carry a championship.
But, good for Io Sky. I've been waiting for Damage Control to get something again. Because they're a good group. They really are.
I'm unsure of Io Sky's ability to win against Liv Morgan simply because of the Judgment Day, Raquel and Dom. It's just such terrible odds to try and overcome.
And all she's got is Kairi Sane right now. Because the rest of Damage Control is hurt. So we'll just have to see where that goes. Next we get the War Raiders versus the New Day. And leading up into this match, Xavier and Kofi's been having some backstage drama. They're beefing with each other and can't get on the same page at all. Coming up into their 10-year anniversary of being the New Day, being a tag team together. And it keeps costing them matches and stuff. It ended up costing them this match right here. And dude, is it wrong of me to say, Devin, that the War Raiders are hot right now, bro?
The War Raiders are brutal. Their moves look like they hurt.
And they're a lot more crisp and cleaner than they were when they were the Viking Raiders, I think.
They've obviously had a lot of time to kind of step into the new role. And, they're just all over the place right now. And, dominant as can be in the tag division. I think it's only a matter of time until we see the gold with the War Raiders.
Me too. That's who I think's going to beat the Judgment Day. That right there. That's the only two I could see doing it. But I had heard, I don't know how true or not it is, y'all comment down below, but one of the Viking Raiders, War Raiders, he'd actually been in a motorcycle wreck. That's why they were gone for so long.
I think that is true.
So, that's pretty badass to come back from something like that and still be able to compete. That props to him, man.
But then, Sami Zayn comes out to talk about the fallout of Crown Jewel. Him accidentally Helluva kicking the OTC Roman Reigns.
And Jimmy and Jay pretty much were like, why'd you do that?
Why? Why'd you do that, Sammy? I didn't mean to.
He's like, what? He was in the wrong place at the wrong time, I guess.
I didn't mean to. Look, man, basically Jimmy was mad, Jay's not mad, and Sammy's going to come and talk to Roman on SmackDown, and I guess we're going to see whether or not OTC is mad.
That means he's either getting speared or he's going to call him Sami Uso. One of the two is going to happen.
So I guess we'll see on SmackDown.
Dragon Lee versus Chad Gable. They had the American Made out there. They had the LWO out there, distractions going left and right, you know, on both sides. And what I think's going to happen, I think they're just setting the LWO and American Made up for like probably a War Games, you know, match, some kind of stipulation or something. And it's crazy to me that Dragon Lee goes over Chad Gable.
Yeah, Dragon Lee winning against Chad Gable was unexpected. It just seems they're kind of trying to build this rivalry between the LWO and American Made. I even think on WWE Speed they're doing an angle between these two groups. And if you know, call me crazy, but it seems like it's going to be Ray and Selena versus Chad Gable and Ivy Nile. Maybe a mixed tag team action of some sort. And it seems Zelina Vega wants some championship gold, and she said she's going to go through Ivy Nile to get it.
I don't know how much sense that makes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Your number one contender is Io Sky for this brand now, so wouldn't you have to go through her? You know what I mean?
I mean, shoot, that's what we're working with here. Main event time. A fatal four-way to decide the number one contender for the Ring General Gunther's World Heavyweight Championship.
We got Damian Priest, Seth freaking Rollins, Sheamus, and Dirty Dominic Mysterio.
Man, call me crazy. I would have liked to see Dom win. Just for the fact that Gunther would beat him so mercilessly.
This match had a couple problems in my book. It was like first of all, like when they did the beats of the batter on Dom, they should have let everybody get some on him.
I thought they were gonna take turns, but they didn't end up doing that.
Second thing, when Bronson Reed came out, he looked like he was dominant and everything, right? No, you just got beat by Seth Rollins the night before, or like the weekend before, bro. You don't get to come out there and disrupt a number one contenders match.
I don't understand why they did that to Bronson Reed, because I just feel different about him now. He's lost the aura that they had given him. And my thing is why couldn't he have beaten Seth Rollins and been in this match in Seth Rollins' place?
Exactly.
Seth Rollins could have come out and costed him this match instead of the other way around.
And it would have just put Bronson Reed in a bigger spot, you know?
And they could have prolonged that feud. And it would have been fine if Seth come out on top in the end. But you have to let Bronson Reed get his lick in.
And then Bronson Reed coming out, he took out Sheamus, and then Seth Rollins, obviously, he tsunami'd him through the announce table. And then that leads Dom trying to be all dirty over there in the corner, trying to pull some Eddie Guerrero stuff. He goes for the pin, and then tries to go for the frog splash, and then ends up getting south of heaven to hell.
Yeah, it was a pretty brutal one.
So your new number one contender is now El Campeon, Damian Priest.
I understand why they let Damian Priest win this, because he's a babyface and Gunther's a heel, and that's practically the only reason why. But I already know it's going to happen, and the Judgment Day and Finn Balor are never going to let Damian Priest win. And on top of that, Imperium is never going to let him win. So we just are going to see this match, and Gunther is going to retain.
Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen most likely, because, I mean, Rhea's hurt right now too, so Damian Lilley has no backup. Everybody else along the way that he's got beef with has backup, and he has none. You can only do so much by yourself.
And it's still possible for him to make some friends, but I don't know.
Let us know what you think's going to happen on SmackDown with Sami Uso. You think Roman's going to spear him in half? Or do you think he's got a chance to actually be able to help him?
And do you agree with the number one contenders for both the Women's World Heavyweight Championship and the Men's?
We got Io Sky and Damian Priest up next.
But let us know what you think coming up ahead, and we'll be back and let you know what we think. And that's about it for this episode.
Like, comment, share, and subscribe.
As for the fan connection, we're out of here.